being an LLC, you don't have stock, but you do have equity. And unfortunately, the IRS is a little murky sometimes on its regulations concerning LLCs versus corporations. So, for example, in a corporation issuing a SAFE, a simple agreement for future equity, doesn't create the murkiness. However, inside of an LLC, it does. So, if you're going to raise money in an LLC, I would generally recommend that you use a convertible note structure, and especially early on. You don't want to have to do, large shareholder meetings, but in an LLC, you generally don't. And you can set up your operating agreement in a way where it's not member managed, it's manager managed, which is much more efficient. And that way you don't have to go to the members every time that you have some extraordinary event and get their vote. The other thing is as if you use a convertible note, the investors are not yet equity holders either, and they have different rights. In some ways, as a convertible note holder, the debt holders have priority over equity holders in the event of any kind of a liquidation. So you can also create structures within those convertible notes that make it appealing for early investors. So I'm going to ask you a question. And it's a very simple question. Let's say you're raising $5 million at a $100,000 minimum investment. And all things being equal, would you rather be the first money in or the last money in? This is the interesting thing. I mean, I've asked this question to so many entrepreneurs, and they say first money in. And I go, why? If you're last money and you've got $4.9 million raised, you have less risk and you're getting the same stock as the first person that took all the risk, the first 100,000. So you want to be last money in. And this is investor psychology. So why does it take so long? And people do these, I'm going to do a $5 million note at 20% discount. And what happens is everybody waits to be the last money in. So, how do you create that FOMO, that urgency that doesn't exist for investors? And so I recommend a tranche convertible note. Let's say, again, we're using an example of 5 million. The first 500,000, you may want to offer a 40% discount to next round. The next million, maybe it's 35%. Then you drop to 25% for the 1.5 million. And finally, the last 2 million gets a 20% discount. So what that does is it creates urgency and FOMO that doesn't exist for first investors to get in early and get a better deal for their money.